A-T. It's in the name.
Welcome into the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast. We're going to talk a little Snowpocalypse 24 and the power of play, and we'll get to that conversation right after these important messages. This episode of the Helping Healing Humor with Ben and Travis podcast is presented by Faulkner University. Faulkner University is a private Christian liberal arts university based in Montgomery, Alabama, with a mission to provide an education anchored by not only intellect, but also character and service. The Faulkner experience aims to educate the whole person. Every individual matters every day. We all want to become better versions of ourselves. No one wants to remain trapped where they are because of missed opportunities and unrealized dreams. At Faulkner University, we believe your dreams don't have an expiration date. We understand that you're looking for more than a degree. You want to find your niche and thrive in your career. Whether you're a high school senior just beginning your trek or an adult student looking for a better path, Faulkner is here to help guide your journey. Go to faulkner.edu to apply or get more info. That's faulkner.edu. I'm Travis Creasy. That is the man, the myth, the legend, Will Mahan. How you doing?
Man, Travis, I'm doing well, enjoying the snow. Well, ice down here in North Alabama with a tad bit of snow, but staying warm and doing well, man. And excited that we got Josh, the fastest runner of Ben and Travis.
Hands on the ass, and little man Grayson.
That's right, and Grayson.
That's awesome. That's perfect timing, Grayson. Perfect timing. All right, we'll add in Ben Hayes of 3-Chord Counseling Shoals as he gets situated with his camera.
I don't know what is going on.
How you doing, Ben?
I'm having some technical difficulties with the computer and with the phone and with everything else. So sorry about that.
Wonderful. Well, I've been posting videos. You guys have been sending me videos of the sledding adventures. And Josh, since you've got to part ways with us here pretty soon, we'll go ahead and start with you, Josh. So, what was your moment of Snowpocalypse 24? I'm sure there were several, but if you got to melt it down into one, what you got?
I think I'd have to say getting sandwiched between Ben and Will was pretty up there on the charts of experiences. But really, I mean, just seeing all the kids having fun and kind of playing like traffic controller at the top and bottom of hills so kids don't run into each other. But we wore ourselves out. I mean, Grayson, I bet we went up a hill 100 times. Cypress was penguining. I mean, I don't know how he was able to walk. He was done. We had an absolute blast. We made every second of it count, down to the hot chocolate in the Jeep and doing donuts. It was absolutely fantastic. What did you think about it, buddy? Did you have fun?
Yeah.
You did? What was your favorite part? Oh, hot chocolate. That's his hot chocolate.
No.
Oh, strawberry milk. Strawberry milk.
Man, I need me some of that.
I don't see anything wrong with either one of those things.
Not at all. Not at all.
Josh was making the rest of us look bad. We're all up there with the kids, and he's like, hey, we're going to take a hot chocolate break. And next thing we know, they come walking up the hill with thermoses of hot chocolate. So made the rest of us look like rookies when that happened.
Yeah. Exactly. Mix a little bit in with your coffee, and it's a game changer.
Man, I may have some decaf later. I know. Everybody's like, decaf is just watered. It is, but it's also 5:00, and I would really like to go to sleep at some point tonight. So
that's fair.
But maybe tomorrow. What about you, Will?
Well, we won't mention any names, of anybody till the news gets out there, but ran somebody to the hospital.
Yeah.
Today with, a little foot injury is what we'll call it, but everything's okay for the most part. But I mean, just getting out with friends, getting to see Amy enjoy everything. We've got a pool tube that we used, and Amy woke up this morning and she was like, Dad, am I going snowboarding again today? And I was like, yeah, you're going snowboarding again today. So just seeing her excitement. And I think I've said this before, just, as a parent, seeing the world through her eyes is a whole lot more fun. It's a whole lot more enjoyable to see the world through the eyes of a 5-year-old than a 34-year-old. And then just knowing that we got church family that we're doing life with. I know Ben posted something yesterday just about some things Cypress said, and I'll let him allude to that a little bit later. But one of the things in the post was it's just fun to do, life with your church family. And to know that our best friends are our church friends, has just been made all the difference really in my mind, because that not only are you concerned about your own child, but there's other people who are also concerned about your child. And so that's just been fun, for her to know, hey, I've got friends that I'm going to do spiritual life with and a lot of fun stuff like the snow. I couldn't ask for anything more as a parent. So, she's excited that school is not existing right now. So that's fun.
Me too.
I guess it's a little bit fun. I know that Josh has a different job, than kind of me and you and Ben, Travis, but it's enjoyable to be able for all of our schedules, Lindsay's schedule, mine, and Amy's, to all work together, to be able to spend this time with each other. So Lindsay's feeling much better. She's had a few doctor's visits, so that's getting better. And to see her out and about and just having some more normalcy after hanging out at a lot of doctor's offices, we couldn't be more blessed at the moment. So it's just been a lot of good with friends and family.
Yeah, and I was, watching like Josh's little boy Grayson and Stana have this new found friendship. Because, I think Josh was about the only person that Grayson would trust to take him down the hill. And then all of a sudden Stana emerged, and it was like, then we got to play traffic control at the top of the hill and not worry about having to walk up it 100,000 times, because Stana would go with him. And then, I don't know. I know Amy probably went down with me at one point. I can't even remember. Finley, several of the other kids, were like, hey, I want to go with you. I want to go with you. So it'd just be like, it was a mix and match when she got to the top, whoever had the board, at the moment, and you ended up getting to hang out with all the kids and all the parents. It was fun. Even a few of us adults went down together a time or two. Mine was probably just watching Cypress just be Cypress the entire time. Like he was on fire. Like he first one up in the morning, first one going, is there snow? I think yesterday morning, or maybe the morning before, he woke up. I guess it was the morning before, woke up and he's like, is there snow? And Kenya's like, I don't think so. And he's like, oh, and then it's like, yeah, there's snow out there. So we went out. And then, first one up yesterday morning, Reddy sitting there with the dog, petting it at the door, waiting for us to go out the door. That same thing today. He got ready before anybody else. We discovered there was a slide on our front porch, basically, of, the sleet had made a slide. So he slid down that 100 times before we ever went to the. And so it was all day, every day, the last 3 days. And he would, don't have a board, no problem. Head first on his stomach, back first, get halfway up the hill, decide, I'm not even going to climb the whole thing, and then slide back down again. So, so the story you alluded to was, I just said, well, snow is the best, wasn't he? He's like, yeah, I think heaven's the best. It was like, okay, thanks for preaching to me. So, but I just enjoyed getting to be with the kids. I think I mentioned that when we were talking about what to pod about today. I said, maybe sometimes, I know there's a lot of people didn't get to enjoy this with their kids. I know some people still had to make it to work regardless, and hopefully they got to enjoy some before or after work. But I needed to slow down and spend a few days with kids. So there was some of these mornings I thought, man, it'd be nice to be in the woods and hunting and, all that good stuff. But I needed to be with my kids for a few days, and just getting to get out there and hit it with them was pretty awesome. So.
Well, you were close to having a whole lot of people staying at your house for the next couple of days. So
it was real. Yeah.
Missed out on that. That would have been me and the rest of the Skits for the Truth guys. As we rolled into Muscle Shoals and we had to thaw everything out. Thankfully, Will was there as well, helping us do that. Crazy thing is we got east of Muscle Shoals and it was like it had just rained hard. Like there was nothing. So we rolled into Huntsville, all the way to Meridian Bowl. with nothing on the ground. So that was nice. And then I got in the truck and headed north and hit Hazel Green, and the ice began to accumulate, snow began to accumulate on the ground. And so when I say I slid into home better than any Major League Baseball team player, that's exactly what I did about midnight on Sunday. So I was glad to get home, although it looks as though had I been there, it wouldn't have been so bad. But I'm glad that I got to be here.
But you wouldn't have your kids to sled.
Yeah, with the kids. And we did some of that sledding. We had a big old hill behind our back of our house. I don't think I've ever been out there before. We tried Booger Hollow down here, which sounds great, right? But we didn't have the right, it's the hit or miss on the perfect sled. And we kind of went out behind our house this direction as we record this on Wednesday. And there were some folks up there that had something, I forget what it was, but they had rigged something and had already packed down the snow. And so that's what we've been hitting up. And then this afternoon, we had a snowball fight in the backyard, snowball/ice fight. It looked more like an ice fight.
You couldn't have a snowball fight here. You would knock people out.
It was close. In fact, that retired us. Haley hit me right in the side of the face and inside the ear with an ice ball, an ice plate, really. And it was like, well, I'm done. But we played a little tackle, ice ball, snowball fight. So that was fun, shoving and tackling. And, I'm all about that. But it's been good. And, I think everything you've already said speaks to the power of play. Playing well with others, stacking each other up 3 high, which I may have to post that video somewhere of you guys, you and Josh, and being Will all stacked up on top of each other going down. There's a little danger involved, as Will can attest to. But, also showing the kids that, it's experimental. Let's go down there. I mean, my right butt cheek is going to be bruised to no end because I couldn't keep it on the sled. And I always kept sliding down on it. But even learning how to fall the correct way, or in a way in which you're not going to hurt each other. I think all of us can probably remember a time or 3 or 10 where our dad's survival skills went into account. And so we fold them up, roll them up, and take the brunt of the blow to ourselves. And I think there'll be a lot of videos come out with techniques of how to fall and go into dad protection mode.
Yeah, I had the first time down today, it was slick. We had a hard time just getting up the hill that we were going to go down because it was just a solid sheet of ice. And so we were, I went down, I think it was with Finley, which is Heather and Zach Morgan's little girl. And so the first slide down, for some reason, when I sit on the board, it likes to start spinning. It doesn't like to go straight. If I lay on my stomach, I do pretty well. So it starts spinning, and we're halfway down the hill. And I thought, if this thing flips, I'm getting a concussion. Like it's just concrete. So I leaned towards the hill and put my elbow down on the hill, to kind of right the ship a little bit. And so when I put my elbow down, it felt like I drug it across the concrete. And I just decided, it's not cold enough to wear my jacket. So I had just one, thin little, shirt on. And so we didn't flip. That was good because I didn't want, Heather coming after me for that one. So I stayed right up, but the elbow took a beating on the way down. So there's plenty of different techniques, but yeah, there was some times where we were rolling to try to protect the little ones' bodies, but we did pretty good. We had a good hill. We were in a golf course driving range, and it's completely surrounded by hills. So we were just sledding down into the valley with no trees to worry about. You could hit the pins every now and then, but they at least give. There were a couple of holes at the bottom, but there were hills galore. So we had plenty of hills to go down.
Nice.
At one point, you talk about just letting, or I mentioned to Ben, I loved letting Amy learn to fail, while she was out there. And I even at one point got sucked into buying her a new toy if she would just go do something I wanted her to do, by herself and all that. So it was cool watching even the kids. You talk about probably some dads probably need to learn how to do some things better so that they don't fail and end up wherever. But watching the kids like screw something up, go back up and fix it, was just really, really cool.
Test
And
it
I know,
out,
yeah, Amy, she figured out we took an inflatable pool float, and it was just a tube just sit in that Lindsay would take down to the beach, and ended up working like perfect, and she would just spin on it. And the day before, she didn't even want to go down, with anybody. She went down with Bransley and Stana like twice. And then after that, she would stand at the top and just scream unless I went with her, and then to today, she didn't want to share the tube with anybody. So we had to work on learning how to share today.
Flying today. It's like 2 days ago. It's like, I want the little hill. I don't want to anybody. I don't want to go down. And then today she was like flying, giggling the entire time. So it's really cool to see the growth, that happens with them.
She liked being a penguin with Cypress a whole lot more than going down any tubes. Yeah. So she liked the no sled. So, but conquered some fear. So it's cool to watch that.
Well, I think about when I was growing up, we would go down Virginia Avenue there in Florence and on a main road. And like the only way you're stopping is hitting the little patch of trees and whatever garbage people threw at the end of the road. And we would do that sometimes without snow. So there's obviously a balance to be had. We're going to put some danger in there, but you probably don't want to be like we were in the late 80s, early 90s, per se. But yeah, testing it out, figuring out, even myself, my kids saw me fail a ton. I couldn't stay on the thing, save my life. It was kind of this. It's a little bit flatter, and then there was a little bump, and then it was on. I mean, when you hit that, it was on. And so kind of getting past all that without falling off. And of course, I'm getting up in age, so sitting Indian style is not as easily done as it used to be. And that was pretty much what you had to do to stay on what we had, was sit Indian style. But yeah, I mean, tons of learning going on. And Ben, I'm sure that you can speak from a mental, we talked about it even the last podcast, the idea of play and the power. We've talked a lot about already some things. Anything else that maybe you pick up, whether from the sledding or from anything else? I know even as an adult, you get out and compete, or you do something, or you practice something, it helps relieve stress sometimes. It may increase it for a little while, but it also, you kind of get your sweat on, and that's always a good thing.
Well, I think of a couple of things. One, over the last couple of days, I've just seen kids out everywhere. We always are talking about they're on their tablets, they're on all this stuff. And I'm not opposed to that. That's what the world is today. I mean, you and I grew up outside doing stuff all the time. I'm sure Will did too. But it has been so good to see the kids just out playing. And there's just so much to learn from getting out and experiencing stuff like that. And like y'all said, just the trial and error, do this and you go, oh, yeah, that didn't work. I got a bump or a bruise. And I think sometimes we really shield our kids sometimes from the bumps and the bruises and, from learning how to problem solve on their own. And so, there were times the kids went down and they flipped off of it and they laughed and giggled. Sometimes they might have cried a little, but it was like, hey, go back up there and do it again, and those are the moments that you really learn, that you really grow. And I mean, maybe maybe somewhat of a picture of that, not that it's like, oh, this is a big deal, you have to learn how to sled, but, it's a picture of life that you get back up, you climb back up the hill, you do it again, and you try to do it better the next time. And so I think there's that piece. And then just the power of laughter. So, I mean, I'd like to know how many giggles and laughs and from adults and kids that I've heard over the last 3 days, because, we'd stand at the top and laugh at what happened to the one sledding down. they'd be giggling and laughing. You know, they're riding with you and they're giggling and laughing. And so I think just the power of laughter, it's in our name. So has Ben and Travis, but you know, helping, healing, humor. There's just something about that. And so just listening to the kids giggle, laugh, have a good time. It's just that pure, you know, excitement of what snow does. And I know people listening and, you know, up north and around the country, they may not, you know, think it's all that great compared to what we do, but we just don't get this very often. And I said, look, this is the 5-year ice or the 5-year snow. You know, we get it. It seems like about every 4 or 5 years, we get a good enough one to do anything with, maybe even further out. I mean, I can't remember one this bad, you know, this bad since like 94 or whatever it was, you know? So, you know, we get this one time every few years, and you know, enjoy those moments with your kids, because you know, we were lamenting the fact Kenya struggled a few times this week with the fact that Jackson wasn't here. You know, he's gone somewhere, he didn't get to enjoy it with us. And you know, she's just like, this is sad to me, you know, that he's not here to enjoy this. He got to enjoy sliding his vehicle, I think, into a curb down south while he was working, which didn't work out too well for him. But that's about all he got to do with it. And so, you know, the next time we have one of these, some of your kids may be grown and out of the house. So, you know, enjoy the moments that you get with them. I think that's the biggest piece that I got from it was, hey, yeah, I want to stay inside where it's warm and, you know, watch a movie or something, but we may not get these times very often. So let's take it while we got it.
Yeah, totally worth having my nose over the steering wheel and clenched up, and I won't go into details about that, as I rolled through Hazel Green and South Lincoln County, where I was like, hey, there's about 3 red lights coming up. I ain't stopping. If they flash red, they ain't nobody else out here. I ain't stopping. Luckily,
Star Wars, Warp.
Yeah, that didn't happen. So I do appreciate you, Ben and Lonnie and Derek out there, who were the only ones who could drive from Texas to Muscle Shoals. The mission of Heritage Christian University is simple. They aim to advance the churches of Christ by equipping servants through undergraduate and graduate programs. HCU produces effective communicators of the gospel, focusing on evangelism and a commitment to Scripture. Heritage Christian University offers 5 degrees: Associate of Arts in Biblical Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Biblical Studies, Master of Arts, Master of Ministry, and Master of Divinity. HCU is accredited by the Association for Biblical Higher Education and is an associate member of the Association of Theological Schools. Since 1968, Heritage Christian University has offered affordable degrees in biblical studies, allowing graduates to thrive in their ministries without the burden of loan debt. In fact, most graduates finish at HCU without owing anything for their education. For the spring 2024 semester, HCU is offering full tuition scholarships for the graduate level students. For more information about the scholarships they offer, visit www.hcu.edu. HCU invites you to the 2024 Heritage event at the Marriott Shoals Conference Center. Join them on Saturday, August 24th for an incredible night of music from the legendary Ricky Skaggs and Kentucky Thunder. General admission tickets and table sponsorships are available for purchase. Visit hcu.edu to purchase your tickets today. If you think HCU is the perfect university for you, visit hcu.edu to schedule a tour or apply today. Heritage Christian University helps you thrive in your ministry. And another thing, power of play, that leads us in. We're sitting here on Wednesday. We opened up pre-orders for the Adventures of Ben and Travis and the Worry Coaster back on Thursday, I believe it was. We are about 33 or 30 plus, I'll say that, pre-orders. At least monetarily, we're about 30 plus orders, and we need 100. So, man, we've already bit off a big chunk of that. Very excited about the people who are promoting that. Will, you haven't had a chance to talk about it. I don't even know how much detail you know, but are you excited about it? I think it'll be pretty cool.
Yeah, I even mentioned it to Lindsay when y'all were sending graphics and everything like that. And I think Ben had sent me maybe part of the script or all of the script, can't remember, through a text on everything. And Lindsay, of course, being a 3 and 4 year old preschool director, was looking at it. She was like, man, this is incredible. So, there's all that out there. The cool part, too, for me is even just a lot of these books and things like what y'all have written, when I read those things to Emmy, it's kind of like, hey, that makes a lot of sense, And so, uh,
Stunningly.
yeah, I mean, it's not just, it's every day. The stuff I've seen is everyday lessons, not just for kids. It will be so good for them. But man, even as just adults, it's just a great reminder. Um, and I think those things are important. And me personally, I may be a little biased here, but I've yet to see stuff that has been put out by the two of you that has not been great or beneficial, in any way. And so, I'm excited about it. We're going to buy several copies, whether we donate them to several of the classrooms in Lindsay's preschool and some things like that. So, and then even as a parent, man, I never thought I'd be this person. But I get so worried every time Amy opens up a book or turns on the TV because I don't know what's going to be there. But I know what I get with y'all. And I know that she can sit down and open it up. Mom and dad can read it to her, anything like that. And I know what's at the core of it. And so something that I don't have to worry about and that I know is going to be fun and creative and promote good spiritual aspects too. Man, sign me up. I'm committed to it.
Yeah, so we will be posting our giveaway information. It will already be out there by the time this is posted, but we're shooting for 250 pre-orders, and everybody on our mail list, everybody who pre-orders, and everybody on our Patreon. If you're doing all three of those things, you will have multiple entries and chances. We're given options of AirPods Pro, shocks, and you'll have to fill me in on this, Will. The Nike Panda Dunks. Is that right?
If you are a parent listening and you do not want to spend, I think it's like 150, whatever bucks on the new Panda Dunks that all of your teenagers want, because I'm around teenagers every day. And even at the beach, I saw like 6 teenagers from a youth group all wearing the exact same shoes. I don't know why you'd want to match anyone else in your youth group, but they love them. It's the new Nike shoes. And we're giving you the ability to get those at a very, very discounted price, because you paying full price versus entering into this giveaway is going to save you major bucks, and it's going to give you major street cred with your teenagers. So a definite win-win.
Ben, did you have something you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just, Will said something a while ago about how the books, sometimes he learns from. There's been time I read these books, these kind of books all the time at school, a lot of counseling, kids books to, the different classrooms. And then a lot of times I take note of the things that I read in those, and I use them in my sessions with adults. Like, I'm like, hey, there's this book I read to the kids this week, and it's a story about this kid that blah, 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 whatever it is. And, here's some of the points that they talked about that would help these kids. And, you can even see the adults go, well, that makes sense. So, you do kind of learn. We all learn from stories. So we go back to, play helps us learn. The laughter is a good, medicine, as the Bible even said. You got all of those different things. And then, sometimes just stories help set a point into our brain. You might tell me, hey, here's 3 things I want you to remember, and I probably won't remember them. But if you put them in a story, it's hard for me to forget them. I've got that reference point of where it made sense to me in my mind. So that's kind of what we're trying to do, is tell a story that's going to help, and do what we can to build up our kids and give them some good positive messages.
All right, so we've got the sponsor level, or the supporter level, which is the book autographed by you, me, and Jacob Hennigan. We have the sponsor level, where you get several things. Obviously, a copy of the book autographed by us. You get a T-shirt of your choosing from the store. and you get a copy of Reframing Hope. And then there is the producer level, and there's all kinds of goodies there. I know I'll forget something, but you can go check out benandtravis.com/store, and you can find that information there. But guys, I appreciate you taking time. Ben, I know if you're like me, I'm not sure Will may be in this window at this point in his age, but you're going to need more ice or maybe even some ibuprofen. But
there will be ibuprofen tonight for sure.
Well, whatever it takes, keep enjoying it, right? I know that we're going to be out through the weekend. I think that call has already been made. We are not going back to school on Friday, so we'll be thawing out. I think tomorrow is supposed to be a little messy, though, so I don't know how much we'll be out in it. But whatever you're doing, whether you've had fun in it, been able to be off from work, or maybe you're just sick and tired of it, just know that we're thinking about you. We want you to be safe. Certainly, we're praying for people who may be stuck out in it or separated from loved ones or whatever it may look like. Just know we're thinking about you. And if you're out there having a blast, have a few trips down on a sled for us while you're at it.
Have a good one.
Thanks for being with us for this episode of the Helping Healing Humor podcast. Be sure to download our free ebook, 28 Days of Focused Living, at benandtravis.com and receive all of our Helping Healing and Humor extra content directly in your inbox. We look forward to having you join us at the same Ben and Travis time, same Ben and Travis channel.